Okay, so now we're going to step up into adding fractions. This would be the next topic that we would be dealing with. Adding fractions where the fractions don't have the same denominators. And up to now, we've used number lines to basically add and subtract fractions, but often, as we have practiced so far, they have the same denominators because you're counting a number of fifths, you're counting a number of thirds, and so on. But before we step up to that point, we have to make sure that our learner understands the concept of equal fractions. So fractions, though they may look different from one another, but they actually may mean the same amount, and they have to see that. So the starting point could be to start with a bar of chocolate again, and first you will partition it into 5 parts. So therefore, each one of these parts would be a fifth. So that would be a fifth. Yeah, and that would be another fifth. And so if 2 of these parts are taken, then this would be 2/5. Yeah, so that would be 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and then 5/5, which is the whole bar again. So if I put a line around it, so let's separate this bit here from the rest. So that's selecting 2/5 out of the whole thing. Now, if we then carry on and partition these, let me select the same color. So if I partition these a bit more, now the number of partitions that I have now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So each one of these parts, which I'm going to write in blue, each one of these parts is now a 15th. So it'll be a 15th, then that will be another 15th. This will be another 15th, and so on. Yeah. So really, the bit that we've selected, which originally was 2/5. So if you remember this, you can still see the gray behind it. So 2/5 that I wrote in gray, 2/5 in gray, is in fact equal to, so let's count in blue. So it's 1/15, 2/15, 3/15, 4/15, 5/15, and 6/15. So the 2/15 which we originally selected is in fact 2/5 which we originally selected is equal to 6/15. So it is important, of course, if you use the number line also to see how they count up to a certain amount. So you can see that after you counted up 3/15, you have in fact arrived at the same amount as 1/5. And then when you carry on counting up to 6/15 on the number line, you will arrive at the same amount where we previously have shown as 2/5. But picture, in this case, probably is the quickest way for the learner to accept that the fact that 2/5 and 6/15, though they look different, numerically when you look at them, they don't look the same. They look different, but they really mean the same amount of chocolate, or same quantity. And that's essential. Next essential part of this understanding is to see that to go from one fraction to its equal cousin, then one way of going from one fraction to its equal one is by multiplying the top and the bottom of the fraction by the same amount, by the same multiple. So it will be 2 times 3 gets us to 6, 5 times 3 also. So whatever we multiply the top by, we multiply the bottom by the same thing. And they need to see that. They need to really practice that. And there are a lot of resources out there where your learner will have to find out what what the denominator or numerator is being multiplied by or divided by. And that's the other thing that I was going to mention, that they have to see it the other way around. So they have to also go from a larger fraction back to a smaller version of it, of the same fraction. So back to the smaller version of the same fraction. And then you can you can then really do some exercises with them. So for example, you could say, you've got 3/5, and what would that be equal to if this is turned into 20? And because the bottom has been multiplied by 4, the top has to be multiplied by 4, that will be 12. And practice this back and forth until they become fluent at it. Once this topic is quite fluently taken up, then is the time to move on and practice adding fractions where the fractions don't have the same denominators. And so for that topic, I'll see you in the next video.